Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome to another Doctor Who Honest Review. This time it's the New Year's Day special of 2022, Eve of the Daleks, which is essentially Doctor Who for the first time ever really doing a Groundhog Day style episode, which is even referenced in this story. Essentially what we've got is a storage facility called Elf Storage, which is owned by Aisling Bea's character Sarah, and on New Year's Eve 2021 we have a bunch of Daleks inside the facility who are trying to kill the Doctor. The Doctor, Yaz and Dan have landed in the facility while trying to reset the TARDIS's problems from Flux, with all of the multiple doors and the goo appearing all around the console room. During the process of trying to fix that, they wind up in the basement of the storage facility, and the Daleks are there because they want to get revenge for the Doctor getting loads of Daleks killed in the Vanquishers at the end of Flux, which of course we know was mainly a Sontaran plot, but nevertheless that's the crux of the story here. Because of the issues of the TARDIS, everything gets stuck in a time loop. When all the characters get killed, it resets back to a couple of minutes before midnight. Originally it's 8 minutes before midnight, but on every reset loop it goes to 7 minutes to midnight, 6 minutes to midnight, 5 minutes to midnight, constantly ticking down towards midnight, and effectively if they can't work out what to do before midnight, they're screwed. Here they only have a small handful of attempts to get everything right and work everything out. What I will say is that Aisling Bea is a breath of fresh air. She's a fantastic character in this. Really funny, great moments, naturally charismatic, and I would love her to be a companion in future, genuinely a mainstay companion. I wasn't overly keen on Nick. His whole deal is that he's got a crush on Aisling Bea's character. He comes to the facility every New Year's Eve to store random items that have been left to him by ex-girlfriends, which is just really strange. I didn't really feel much for him, but Aisling Bea definitely sold the whole thing and was fantastic. Sadly, John Bishop is a bit more background in this, even though he spends a couple of the time loops going away distracting Daleks in order for the Doctor and Yaz to try and work more things out. But other than that, he doesn't really add too much here. He's just a bit scenery, really. In terms of formulating a plan of how to break the time loop, it's spoken about quite a few times that there's a really strange guy called Jeff who stores all sorts of bollocks inside Elf, and it's like loads of food, holiday items, taxidermied animals, random computer equipment and gas canisters and fireworks, and effectively the crew are trying to work out what items they could get together basically to blow up the facility, and if they're able to escape the facility at the right time just before midnight, blow the building up, then that'll break the time loop and kill all the Daleks off. The Daleks do have a new, well, I say a new design, it's a very slight new design on their blaster, where it's more like a Gatling gun, and that's really cool. It's a bit OP, to be fair, because the Dalek extermination ray can usually kill anything in one blast anyway, so the thought of the Daleks going, yeah, but I actually want to kill my enemies with 12 shots rather than 1, okay, right, it's a bit gimmicky, but it looks cool on screen. The only issue is they can't shoot for shit. They are literally Stormtrooper Daleks. This storage facility is mostly built up of really large open spaces and really long, narrow corridors. And even when characters are grouped together running down these corridors and you've got this Gatling gun exterminator ray which shoots a blast every half a second or whatever, it still can't pick people off. It's a bit baffling, to be fair. Some of the character decisions later on get a bit daft because Nick fancies Sarah. Their whole thing is that, you know, she's a bit passive towards him at first. He's massively into her. Then as the plan goes further ahead and they're like, right, we only have so many shots of success left and it's very likely that if we don't work this shit out in 5 attempts, we're gonna all die. They get to like the second off last attempt and they just start talking about like wanting to travel the world and just having like very trivial, phatic conversations. It's like, you wouldn't be talking like this. You would be doing the plan. You would be trying to survive because you know you've only got like 2 deaths on the loop left. So that was a bit, weird, whatever. That's it for the main plot. The main thing that I guess most people are going to take out this episode, and was my biggest emotional reaction to watching this story, is the setting up of the Doctor and Yaz's relationship. I didn't react to it in a good way, I'll put it that way. No, it's not because the Doctor's a female and Yaz is a female, don't be so fucking stupid. It's because in general I'm not a fan of Doctor-companion relationships, and even though ones that have happened in the past, I've, got used to them now. The idea of the 10th Doctor and Rose, fair enough, I'm over it, because at least there was some sense as to why they would be compatible together. Rose knew the 9th Doctor, and she kind of brought him out of a very cold and dark place in his life post-Time War, and then gets with Tennant, who's obviously one of the handsome Doctors, and their chemistry connects together really easily. It makes sense why they are together, or why there is a love interest there. But I've never felt the connection between the 13th Doctor and Yaz. It just feels like it's a forced relationship rather than one that has happened naturally or feels like it's worth doing. And there's been hearsay of they're going to try this for a couple of years now, and it was probably bound to happen, but it was set up very, very clunkily. It actually made my eyes roll at the initial giveaway of Aisling B saying, oh, it's the weirdos with the good hearts that are the ones who are worth, getting with. Yaz looks at the Doctor, and the Doctor turns and goes what? And it's just, it just feels so jagged and clunky, and I don't like that in love stories. I don't like that in romances when they're in dramatized forms. I want them to feel natural and authentic, and I just don't buy the Doctor and Yaz as a natural, authentic pairing. We haven't been shown enough of that in the past to make it feel like it makes sense. So I was hesitant towards it, but obviously it's gonna happen regardless. So let's just see what happens from there. Honestly, the biggest reaction I've got from this whole episode is the end, because I know that the Sea Devils are coming back, and I cannot fucking wait. So I'm looking forward to this story, Legend of the Sea Devils, which I will obviously come back and give an honest review of this year. But there we go. That was my honest review of Eve of the Daleks. Hope you enjoyed that one, and I shall see you later for more 13th Doctor down the line.